Tinubu don't come under proper woto from Professor Steve Ang. That one can tell and say now where everybody don't know say Tinubu submit false certificate give INEC. He said I'm wondering what else is going to forge. Not be Nigeria person I talk this one so defamation it has not been concluded the Supreme Court has not said it yet. It has not been said that it's forged. Now Igbo na talk this one now. Who stone am? Who accuse am? Nobody. But if na Nigerian person, that say, you are talking. That's your president you are talking to. He say, I am wondering what else is going to forge. Una see am clear and direct. This one, a professor of applied economics at St. Hopkins, Maryland. Wanna go look for your address, wanna sue am for defamatory. All the Tinubu supporters, mona march go Maryland. Mona go swamp. As they try to wrap our head around this one, London-based Financial Times has advised President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to stop announcing plans without idea of how to implement them. This is they make me they laugh. So the same trip where they go around the world, now these same people where they walk around the world, now they fire and so I wonder what our president go do for America, for London, for France, because for this forgery of a thing, nobody come out come talk say okay, people should let him be. No international person come out. The so-called Biden, when people for it say Biden invite only Tinubu, make it con chop, make the con rapport. I did not carry for me call and say my brother, I better take out to no vest, no worry, we are with you. We don't hear anything. Chai. Oh guy, for not your travel, go abroad. For your manager yourself for this Nigeria. And see all of your back off now. Trip, you know if you go. Come out, no fit come out. We don't know where you dey. In fact, Dr. Bati, when they talk, say that Nigerians are worried. They no hear from we you. Understand, say all they appoint, they appoint, this one appoint, that one appoint, all na media talk. In fact, all these ones saying we are used to it. To also say President Tinubu said this is going to appoint this one. We know say na right-hand men Adeleke and Badami Abila, and they do all the ones where they and we understand. As soon as they run, so they try to recover from Tinubu certificate forgery. When they hear say even Abubakar own name no rhyme. Abubakar run come out to Atiku Abubakar. He can't talk say na Sadiq Abubakar na dey in name for WAEC results. Say until he can't change the name to Atiku Abubakar. At least Abubakar dey inside, abi. And they no write female, na man, na they write for there, abi. So that one pure. At least he go school for Nigeria. We fit trace am. Not the way they say they go for abroad. We not see who know am. We not know who know am. The ex-minister, what they call Dalon, can't tell Tinubu say the sacrifice you demand from Nigerians amid hardship should start from you. How you want to start from her? When his son, they carry private jet, official one. Papa get to you, not carry papa one. You go carry Nigeria, pack your friends inside, say you want to go watch polo tournament for Kano. Can you imagine? So how is the hardship going to start from him? It is not possible because it's not even starting from his son, not to talk of Tinubu himself. Hey, Nigeria is gone, no. Supreme Court not do the right thing, comot Tinubu, make peace reign. Yawa go gas, so because the former managing director of the Nigerian Army Properties, Major General Malam Mohammed, has been sentenced to 7 years imprisonment for forgery, stealing, and theft of millions of US dollars belonging to the Nigerian Army by an 8-man special court marita in Abuja. So if nobody is above the law, so what makes us think that Tinubu will escape this forgery of a thing? And lastly, when the year say Chief E.A. Clark almost collapsed so when he heard the fake news of Gowon's death. People, they carry news, oh, hey, my people. Person would know your die. The yacht say he die. He said, the man say nearly by you. Until Gowon can carry phone call and say, my brother, I say they are alive, oh. Now social media, and I kill me, oh.
That the obedient movement, as we all know, is a movement that we are giving birth to based on the need to enthrone good leadership in Nigeria. Nigerian youths became tired, both home and abroad, became tired of the old order, and there is need for us to change the narratives. Reason why we filed behind His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi and supported his candidacy from beginning till the end. And even after the election, the obedient movement are still behind Peter Obi to reclaim his mandate. As you all know, we are the Supreme Court. And nobody should lay claim. Obedient movement does not have any coordinator anywhere. Nobody should trade with the obedient movement. Nobody should engage into political marketing with the obedient movement. Our leader is His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi. We believe in his philosophy, we believe in his antecedent, and we believe in his political journey. That is why the youth of Nigeria and all the obedient movement, obedient support groups, and a whole lot of people that have been with us from beginning are still queuing behind his directive. Like the chief spokesperson have just said, Mr. Peter Obi was in Imo, where he directed every obedient supporter to queue behind His Excellency Mr. Senator Atan Achonu, who is the governorship candidate of Labour Party in Imo State. The truth remains that Imo people have experienced insecurity like never before. Imo people have experienced poor infrastructure like never before. And this is the only man running for governorship with a traceable and proven record of investment both in Imo and across the country. And that is why the obedient movement stand firm, and we always stand firm till 11th November 2023 to win the victory. I want to, at this point, call Kekocha to make just a simple input.
Obedient movement has no other coordinator anywhere else, has no other leader anywhere else apart from His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi. Anywhere anybody has collected money trying to make himself famous by making any pronouncement about coordinatorship of obedient movement, anybody that hears that, please find a way to escape, because the person is leading you into the abyss. He's a criminal and is supposed to be arrested. He has no official duty in the movement. He has no official movement in the party. Hence, he could be seen as a criminal. That's all I want to say. The Imolites who are watching, who will be watching, and who has listened to whatever somebody has said about the coordinatorship, that we don't have any other coordinatorship apart from Excellency Mr. Peter Obi. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It was just making response. It is very also important for you to understand what we went through the last election. Last minute gimmicks, last minute antics by these political parties put a lot of questionable issues into our people. So we are trying to take care of those particular issues right now. Many more will come. We have issues even when our principal was running for election, and we are called from outside this country, and we are told that our principal have relegated his candidature to another place. So a stitch in time, save 9. No matter what, we are not directing it to a particular place, but we have a whole lot of others that may even queuing behind it. That is our position.
Well, are you aware of any such plan anyway?
We just make response to it, what is going on. Thank you.
Okay, the last question.
The Supreme Court is there, open for you to go and get the CTC of that judgment. What actually happened was that Atan Achonu emerged in the party-conducted primaries. 2 individuals that never participated in the party primary went to court to fight themselves. And they went up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court removed that case and said he has no locus standing. What does that mean? It means that there is no foundation upon which that house will be built. It means that there is no base for them to have approached the court. So what legal people call it is a waste of legal energy. Legal energy that they just wasted it up to Supreme Court. So as far as we are concerned, there is no other person campaigning in Imo. Atan Achonu has been going from one local government to the other. Atan Achonu, you saw his flag off in Imo, where our spokesperson just mentioned. I was there live and direct. His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi was there. The National Chairman Barrister Julius Abure was there. Farouk Umar, the National Secretary, was there. All the NWC members were there present. The pride of Labour Party currently, Dr. Alex Oti, was also there, live and direct. So the Labour Party in Imo State has no case about double candidacy. Of course, the final list of candidates running for this election is out. And boldly written under the column for Labour Party is Senator Atan Achonu. This has put to rest to any other claim anybody would lay anywhere.
Why the urgency? Why the urgency and importance of a revolution in Nigeria, of a turnaround in Nigeria? I think it is critical that we as a people examine where we are. Because without a clear understanding of where we are, it becomes that much more difficult to understand the importance, the urgency, or even the need for that turnaround. A lot of people today will tell you we are in El Dorado, we have democracy, we should be happy, elections are over, we should move on, we should do this. But it is critical that we know where we are. Where are we? We're in a place where Nigeria is telling those who should be citizens very loudly, very clearly, that they are not. Why would I say this? A lot of people came out, Askema, Bovi, a lot of conscious Nigerian entertainers got involved. People were urged to go and register to vote. We spent time, considerable time, getting them reacquainted with the electoral process. Nigerian youth turned out in record numbers across the length and breadth of Nigeria. And they were registering to vote. We were reconnecting them with the electoral process because for the like of me, it was the only way I could envisage a change devoid of conflict. It is in the human nature to demand freedom, to demand justice. And Nigeria is not structured to offer either of those two. It's not structured to offer equity. It's not structured to offer justice, to offer fairness. The way it is structured, it is already designed to be a modern feudal state. I could see that from when I was a youth, and I recognized the futility of protests within such a system. You only protest to those who hear you. There is no point in protesting to the person who has willfully and deliberately blocked his ears. When you're dealing with a system that is unrepentantly evil, you must come to the point of understanding that that system is structured to do exactly what it is doing. It is only when you come to the knowledge of this that you can begin to deal with Nigeria the way you ought to deal with Nigeria. Nigeria, as is currently structured, is not structured to work for those who should be citizens, but are in truth victims. Buhari was there for 8 years. The Fulanis were the largest victims of Nigeria. The people of Kankara, most people in Zamfara, half of Zamfara, or maybe a little less, the Fulanis. The place is torn apart by war because of mineral resources. Everywhere you find mineral resources in Nigeria, there is war because there are contending forces beyond the state taking the benefit of what should belong to all. When they cannot bring it, or when they do not desire to bring it to the central port to be shared by all of the thieves together, they create militias in a place, and that becomes the de facto governor of that place. And they take the resources and leave the people with the misery and the suffering. That has been the lot of the Nigerian throughout the entirety of my lifetime. So I saw this, and I believe that the only way this could be changed peacefully is to reconnect the people to the electoral process. And that was what we started doing. The thieves were bold to tell us, go to court. And they knew what they were saying. They clearly understood exactly what they were saying. Go to court. But of course, If we had failed to go to court and we had taken to the street in protest, the Nigerian state would have been overjoyed. So those of you in the obedient movement or our friends, our orange wearing friends who think that we were stupid, we should have taken to the street. If it was Mr. Lagbaja or Mr. Temedu, the street would have been awash with protest. I was one of those, in conjunction with many others, who urged, do not take to the street. They say go to court. Let us go to court. So we went to the court. I didn't go to the court believing that we'll get justice in the court, but it was critical that on the path to that peaceful revolution that Nigeria must have, your hope in the illusion of justice being found within our judiciary had to be dashed by the judiciary itself. Me telling you or anyone else telling you wouldn't have made the impact it should. The judiciary had to willfully, in the public space, unveil itself so that Nigerians might properly recognize it for what it is. Democracy might now as well be called judiciary, because it is the judiciary that is creating governors now, creating senators. But Kachua did give us an inkling. So when you talk about where we are is a place where our will as a people no longer counts. If we could witness INEC brazenly subverting our will in spite of all the promises related to beavers, and then we could hear our courts telling us that everything that was promised by INEC, that all the laws do not matter, then it should be suggesting to us that by 2027, we should not bother to come out to vote or register to vote. There will be no point if the court itself has legitimized the electoral heist. The reality of the matter is that the current constitutional order would have been grounded to a halt because our rights as citizens would have been legislated away, and then the legislation of our rights, the exertion of our rights would then have been confirmed by the courts. It simply means that the law is whatever the court declares that the law is. It does not matter anymore what the people want. We would have become confirmed slaves in our own country. This is where we are today. That Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is fighting his old friend, and they are busy helping us to further clarify issues. These are things that we should be happy about. We should be very, very happy for the clarity that we are gaining, even as we go closer to the Supreme Court's judgment. Because it is not just, it is the judgment, it is a judgment of many things in Nigeria that the Supreme Court will be pronouncing. But as we go closer to that day, be careful to watch out for one thing. A lot of people will try to help you change the narrative and make you believe that things are not the way it is, that maybe if you let things go, be clear. If you let things go, you've normalized evil. Nigeria will live with the contradictions. The people will suffer for it. Things will become even more lost than it is. The danger of acceptance and normalization of this situation should be writ clear for every conscious being who is still able to understand consequences. 25 years ago, men found the grace to be quiet about the evil with which we battle today. 25 years ago, Gani warned. He told you all. Those who should have talked kept quiet. They found reasons to keep quiet. 25 years later, this is where we are. But more importantly, and over and beyond Bola Ahmed Tinubu, or the man or woman known as Bola Ahmed Tinubu, There is the effect on the society itself. And what is the effect on the society? The loss of accountability. Bola Ahmed Tinubu's election or selection is the height of the loss of accountability, but it's not the beginning, and it's not the only one. Once you accept the Bola Ahmed Tinubu's presidency, you've accepted that nothing will happen to Ponde. Remember that one that was fainting in the National Assembly? That's the end of that case. Once you accept Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that's the end of Adisirika and all that here Nigerian nonsense, all that fraudulence. That's the end of it. That's the last you would ever hear of it. The chairman of their party, in a show of shamelessness, that's the one that was stuffing dollars and into his babariga and cap. And yet, you have people in prison for stealing food. What kind of society would we have become when you know that what you have in high offices are thieves? What you have in high offices are forgers of documents. Where is the accountability if the ultimate evil in the public space sits in your highest office? Where is the accountability? In reality, you should free all prisoners in Nigeria, in Nigerian prisons, except you can't even say except they've killed or robbed, because what have they done that those in public offices have not done? Exactly what have they done? That is where we've gotten to as a society. You are saying to the world, to the children, because children do not learn by your protestations, they learn by your examples. Everywhere you turn, your Senate president, the ones sat in the presidency, your governors, if they are not telling you they've done time somewhere or they have proven cases, proven. I'm not saying that somebody who has committed a crime should not live again, but those should not be the people propped up in public office, and then you have people serving time for stealing pittances. How can we build in the 20th? Are we in the 21st or 22nd century now? Only God even knows. We don't know. But this is the 2020s. How can we be building a society where the law does not matter? To enthrone one man, it's not about one man. I'm deliberately using that. To enthrone one man, that's what you think. But it is not about one man. That one man, regardless of his lies about his age, you can see clearly he's an old man. I do not wish him dead. Regardless of what anybody might say, I do not hate him. It is his deeds. Their deeds. It is what they do, the effect, the ruination of the country. Why should it take 20 years to rebuild Lagos-Ibadan Expressway? Why should it take 16 years for the bricklayer of Lagos and his gang to rebuild Lekki-Epe Expressway? Why? And we are applauding. And men of God and women of God, pastors, imams, Oloro, all of them, they are busy clapping that this is the peak of human achievement, and they travel outside this country and they see they are beneficiaries. But you, the victims, you need to recognize the need, urgent need. Unite yourselves and then prepare to turn around. The refusal to go to court and to go to the streets has afforded us the time to further unite ourselves, to allow them to also make all the errors they are making, to allow, for instance, now, how could we have guessed what Atiku would have dredged up? But look what Atiku has dredged up. We have not even begun to open and unveil all that and interpret it, in spite of their multiple narratives, purchased presenters, purchased influencers. We have not finished unpacking that, and you are already seeing very clearly that is becoming clearer and clearer by the day that this cannot be sustained. But it is the plan for the day after that matters. First thing, unite yourselves. When we are united as a people, we can now sit back if we've agreed that there is a need to turn around, no country can be built on impunity. And when the court of law fails to uphold justice, the confidence of the people becomes completely lost. The voices preaching violence gains traction when hope is lost. And what is happening right now is that those voices are gaining traction even though they are quiet, because the system that should have addressed the feelings of injustice have been compromised to the point where confidence in the ability of the court to act as the last hope of the common man has been completely undermined.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's son, Sheyi Tinubu, has come under fire on social media after he was spotted on Sunday, October 8th, reportedly using the presidential jet to travel to Kano to watch the finals of this year's edition of the Kano International Polo Tournament. Eyewitnesses say the presidential jet that conveyed Sheyi Tinubu and his friends landed in Kano around midday on Sunday. He was said to have been received at the airport by some officials of the presidency, the Kano state government, and the Kano Polo Club. While users on social media criticized the president's son for using the jet for a private event, while the London-based Nigerian journalist Jafar wrote this on X. Here is Tinubu's golden child, Sheyi, traveling in a presidential jet to watch polo in Kano. But this trend did not start today. Buhari set the bad example when he allowed his daughter Hanan to travel in a presidential jet for a photo tour in Bauchi. Even if our laws are vague on this, one thing is clear: this is an offense to the moral code of leadership. Dr. Abati, our lawyer here.
Well, I think that Jafar is correct. This is clearly a case of abuse of presidential powers. To the best of my knowledge, Sheyi Tinubu is not an official of state. He's not a former head of state. Many are in fact likely to ask, who the hell is he? Because he's the president's son. So even if you are a child of privilege, what I always tell these children of privilege is that why don't you struggle and develop yourself and make a name for yourself instead of just relying on privilege? But what concerns us is the abuse of presidential powers. The son of the president is not qualified in any way to use the presidential jet, any of the jets in that fleet, except, however, you know, there was once upon a time, there was this arrangement whereby you can hire the jet, any of the smaller jets, but you will pay for it, okay? But in this case, it's not clear that he's paying for the use of it, and that this is not the first time that he will use this jet to go on a frolic of his own. It's not as if he's running errand for his father, because the president has powers under the Constitution. He can send somebody on an errand and say, okay, let the jet take it. He was going to watch a polo match. What is that?
Yeah.
And then what even makes it scandalous was that he was received, we were told, when he arrived in Kano, as if he were a state official by government officials, and he was given heavy security, wasting taxpayers' money to protect the president's son. So these are the issues. However, that presidential fleet, you know, is given out with the approval of the Office of the National Security Advisor, because the presidential fleet, that's a security operation. What I know is that, you know, former heads of state, sometimes if they are a trip to somewhere or they are going on an assignment on behalf of Nigeria, it could be released to them. If ministers were being sent on errands, you know, they could use it. Sometimes heads of states of other countries will approach Nigeria if they had a major trip, and Nigeria will say, okay, you can use presidential jet to be approved for them. But to turn the presidential jet into, you know, an Okada that people can be using to go and watch polo, to go and watch table tennis, or to go and visit persons in parts of the country. No, the optics, very bad. At a time when we should be saving resources. And in any case, those security people guarding the son of the president, no, that again is very wrong. Now, that's that about that. What was the other story? The complaint by Frank Shaibu.
Frank Shaibu.
Well, Frank Shaibu, I'm sure he knows very well that the campaign period is over. this is the governance period. He's complaining that the president has appointed some additional media aides. Well, the truth of the matter is that the president of Nigeria can dispense patronage up to over 5,000 positions. I get the argument that, look, we should run a slim government, we shouldn't have too many aides in government. After all, in some states, one governor, did he not appoint almost 100 media aides? We discussed this on the same program.
Yes.
So the example is even replicated in a worse manner in the States. So because of the condition of the country at this time, many of us are likely to be concerned. But it's within the prerogative of the president to put a team together. And President Tinubu will not be the only president that will put a propaganda team together, since that's the phrase that Shaibu used. Now, let me just dial back a little bit. In our time, we also had our own media operation. It wasn't that I was part of the team. I led the team.
Exactly.
When I was there. Now, so we had our own, but we didn't, not everybody was given title. We had a media unit, even outside the villa, where we had people, who provided support system, but they were not given fanciful titles. They just worked for us in the background. So the problem with this is that these persons have been given big titles as if they are state officials. That's one. Under President Buhari, they had what they called the Buhari Media Center. Most of the people that were in that Buhari Media Center, they were just a support team. They were not state officials. They were not called senior assistant, senior special assistant. So, and now, in this case, I don't know whether they still have that kind of backroom team in addition to all these ones who have been given titles. Shaibu says, okay, 20 special assistants and aides and all of that. Well, it's within the prerogative of the president to get people to assist him to do his work. However, we can complain that, government should save costs, the team should be leaner, and that, we should save resources. But as for Frank Shaibu, he's playing politics. He's special assistant to PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar.
Yeah.
So the question is, what do you expect him to say? He will find every possible fault with the administration. But the president of Nigeria has enormous powers under the Constitution to delegate authority.
All right, Rufai, politics or not, that large cabinet, is that what we need?
It's not a case of playing politics. It's a case of the waste that is going on in this government that my heart can't take. The waste, the unnecessary waste. The waste in appointments, duplication of roles, also the waste and the frivolousness when people travel abroad and you pack a big entourage abroad. At a time where the country is bleeding and you're telling everybody to tighten their belts, the price of gas now is 1,200 naira per kg. If you want to buy 1,000 liters of diesel now, it's over 1 million naira. I was talking to a friend that told me the other day that he burned 600,000 naira to buy diesel in a week. And you are seeing all of this. These people, the salary scale will not be anything less than 500,000 naira. Just imagine if we convert this money to building schools, to furnishing hospitals, to giving the money truly to the people that need them. And you can see the fanciful titles. All for what? All at a time where our country is bleeding, and our country is bleeding dry. So for me, it's the waste I can't understand. It's this same waste that has told, that has informed the Senate to tell the president, send us a supplementary budget. You can't just be spending money this way.
Right.
And we can't see anything to show for it. It is also the waste that culminates into the president's son using the presidential jet. But how will he not use it when we had a country of waste, when President Buhari did the same, and everybody keeps violating the government?
Yes, yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up.
Oji, one part that we won't forget in all of this.
Yes.
How will he not use it and turn it into an Okada? This is the same man that his father has a private jet. Why didn't he use his father's private jet?
This is the question.
So that's
Remember,
a big point
Yes.
that people are not even mentioned.
Yeah.
His father has a private jet.
Yes.
Very good jet, a Falcon.
do you
that we've all
remember?
seen in pictures and all of that. So why didn't he take his father's private
Yes.
jet to use? But it's part of the waste. You see, because state resources can be wasted easily.
Yes.
As long as you are there, you waste as much you can for the 4 or the 8 years you're going to be here. So that's the kind of, so we've built a culture of waste. And the shocking thing, Oji, because me, I'm a man of facts.
Yeah.
Those that are even criticizing him today, when they get to power, they will waste the same way.
Well, this is unfair.
So it's the kind of, you see, Oji, I keep saying
This is unfair.
people don't get me when I say culture will eat strategy for breakfast. We have built a perpetual culture of waste.
So what is that law, Dr. Abati, and why is it so vague? If you remember that, Hanan Buhari had done the same thing, and 3 years ago we criticized her, and nothing was done about that after a while. And we had seen a lot of videos. I don't know if you have that Hanan Buhari video. This is the video. We had seen a lot of videos of the Buhari administration using these public assets for private use.
It's a culture of waste.
Go all the way back beyond Buhari.
We have Buhari.
Abacha's son also used state assets.
Yeah,
state helicopter.
It's a culture of waste.
But you could say that was under the military, but it's the same thing.
It's exactly.
It's a culture of waste.
But can't these children of privilege, can't they find something to do? I mean, being the son of a president should not be a career.
Dr.
Or being the son or the daughter of a governor, that should not be a job.
Dr. Abati, some people print cards saying friend to the governor.
So if you can print complimentary cards and
complimentary cards and say Baba to somebody, how much more this? So I think
it's the culture of the impunity. Yeah, this is what it is. Yeah.
For those that are criticizing them, once they get into, that's why you wrote a piece. I read you a lot of that. You say it's as if there's a demon in the House of Rock. That once people get in there, they lose their sense of consciousness, they lose their sense of mind. But I think that's the question we should be asking this man. I know he's an avid polo player. I've seen him play polo a couple of times. I know he wanted to go see the final. But let's ask him, his father has a private jet. Why didn't he use his own father's private jet? Why did he have to use Nigeria private jet?
Let's take out another story.
The summary of it is that Nigerians will keep watching and they will expect that next time around, except anybody is on official assignment, they will not use our presidential jet to go and watch
you can't do
table tennis or to go to the market to go and buy Ogbono and Ewedu.
Ogbono and Ewedu, I love that.
This is Bod TV Bod. In case the first time you come here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more uploads.